Hi, I'm Stephanie Marchetti, and I'm the Director of Academic Support and Testing Services here at the Mount. It's so nice to see you. If you're watching this video, that means you have figured out how to access your web courses. So what's next? Some of you are waiting for someone to tell you how to do online classes, and that's hopefully what this video will assist you with. Ultimately, there's no magic answer that's going to make you successful in online classes. Only you can make you successful in online courses. There are a few tips to help though. And the first one is that you should consider creating a consistent schedule. Build a consistent time or times each week that you will always work on your classes and keep yourself accountable for that for the entire semester. So the first consideration when you're building a schedule is thinking about, are your classes that are online synchronous or asynchronous? Synchronous classes means there is a specific day and time each week when those classes meet. And so you'd want to build a schedule that includes those times plus the time to do homework after the meetings are over. Asynchronous means there's no specific time each week when your class meets. So you're on your own to build the entire schedule for when you'll complete your assignments. And in addition to making a schedule that includes both of those remote classes, take into consideration if you have in-person classes as well. Make a whole weekly schedule that includes every type of classes you have and when you're going to complete the work for each. Once you know when these classes meet and when is a good time in your week to dedicate to each of them, you want to also consider if your professor hosts drop-in hours through Zoom, and you should try to go to these. Even if you don't have a question yet, and even if you don't need help, drop in and meet your professor so that later on in the semester, when you do have a question, it won't be so scary to approach them and ask for assistance. The next consideration is to think about the best time of day for your learning to occur. Some of us work better early in the morning. Some of us work better really late at night. We also need to consider who else is in our house and what that means for our focus and distractions. And then, to go along with that, you need to think about your personal attention span. Is it realistic for you to block off 6 hours one day a week and cram everything in? Or should you try to reserve 1 to 2 hours every day in the week to do a little bit of work at a time? And finally, when you think about getting organized and creating a consistent schedule for yourself, think about where you are going to complete your work. Is there a good place in your house that you can reserve to do your work at? Or could you maybe come to campus and use our computer labs to have some quiet time? Or would you like a mix of both of those? I would suggest a mix of both, and let me show you how you can reserve time to work on campus. In your iConnect account, there's lots of helpful information, but if you scroll down on the right-hand side, there's an option for Open Lab Computer Sign Up. And so particularly in weeks where you have a big project or maybe you need some quiet study space, you might want to consider coming to one of our 2 campuses and reserving a few hours in a computer lab so that you have a nice distraction-free environment that is safe and outside of your home for you to do work. So if you wanted to book time on the Gardner campus, all you'd have to do is scroll down to the day you want to book, hover over the type of computer that you want to reserve, and click on the little pencil. That will take you to a sign-up sheet. You fill in your name and a few other pieces of information, and then you've got that computer reserved for 2 hours. And you can reserve for multiple 2-hour blocks or multiple days at a time. So I would definitely recommend you check out this option. And there's a lot of different types of computers available based on your needs. We have Macintosh and PC computers available. We also have computers with the software you need for classes like CAD and accounting where there's specific programs involved. So if when you are thinking about creating a consistent weekly schedule, you know that there is not a quiet space in your house for you to dedicate time to either reading or studying or writing, consider using one of these computer labs as an option. Okay, so next, once you've got an idea of what your weekly schedule should look like, I would recommend creating a master syllabus for all of your work. So each of your class has a syllabus, and a syllabus is a document that basically communicates specific information for that class, including expectations and assignments. It usually also includes due dates for those assignments as well. And so review each of your syllabi. Syllabi is the plural for syllabus, and create a master list of assignments and due dates so that you can see everything due for all of your classes in one location instead of looking through a bunch of different documents to find that information. You can create this master syllabi on a paper and pencil calendar. You can list it all out in a spreadsheet or Word doc, or you can create a calendar. And also, that can be a really overwhelming activity, so tutors are available to help you with that as well. Just email ASC for Academic Support Center at mwcc.edu, and the tutors can help you create this master syllabus. But let me show you how you can do this with an easy tool you've already got available to you. So if we go back into iConnect, you have a student email account. And if you click on that student email account, you can see mine's empty right now because I'm not a student. You have a little icon on the side that says calendar, and this gives you access to a Google Calendar. And so if you don't know where to start with building your master syllabus, you can always open a Google Calendar and create one on here. So say I know every week on a Monday, I want to study for English 101. I want to do that every Monday from 12 to 1. I can build this out on here, but this one, so far, it doesn't repeat. So let me take a look. I might want to say I want every Monday to reserve 1 hour to work for English 101. And I'm going to do that in my house, not in the computer labs on campus. And then all I have to do is set a reminder for how long beforehand and save it. And now every Monday, it'll remind me that I'm going to study for English 101 at 12 o'clock. Keep in mind all the different things you can use your Google Calendars for. I actually personally use paper and pencil for my schoolwork because that's my learning style. But think about what will work best for you. And if you find that activity overwhelming, don't forget that there's people to help you. There are lots of other things that you should do daily or weekly as well. The first is obviously check your school email. We already saw the importance of that. The next is to double check the announcements in your classes as well. Even though announcements are emailed to you, it is helpful to go into your Blackboard pages and look at those. So let's do that really quickly as well. Again, back in iConnect, the hub for everything Mount Wachusett while you're a student is your Blackboard app. And you should get in the habit of logging into each of your Blackboard pages at least 2 to 3 times weekly, if not every day. So I'm going to log into one of mine right now. This is a class that I'm teaching, and I can see lots of different announcements. Let me put this on student view. So I can see that even just in the early days of this class, 4 announcements have already posted, and they have videos embedded, there's links in them, and a lot of those things wouldn't show up if I read these announcements elsewhere. If you are reading announcements in an email or on your phone, you're not going to see the things that are embedded in them, like audio memos and like videos. You want to make sure you're on a desktop or a tablet and you're checking these announcements regularly, because as you can see, at least in my class, you've got assignments in here, you've got due dates, you've got contact information. There's a lot going on here. So make sure you're logging into Blackboard regularly and you're checking the announcements. The next thing that you want to do in Blackboard regularly is go to your grades and double check those as well. And there's a few reasons that you want to check your grades in your classes. The first is so that you know how you're doing in those classes. And the second is so that you can make sure that everything you're sending to your teachers has been received. If you notice zeros on assignments that you know you submitted, that's another time when you would maybe drop into your professor's Zoom hours or email them just to see what's going on, to make sure that all of your work is received. The other thing that you should do weekly is take care of yourself and your mental health. This is a lot of screen time. It's a lot of reading. It's a lot of adjustment. And so if you are struggling and you need help, there's a lot of places that you can reach out to, and I'll list some of them here. We have mental health counseling on campus. We have advisors. We have support team members. There's a lot of folks who can help you. And so stay in touch with us. We are literally all here for you. So keep in mind that online courses are often more work than in-person courses because of all the reading and independence that you are working through. And there are lots of people who can help you. So that's all for this video. Keep those tips in mind. Dedicate study time each week. Make one master list of all of your assignments so that you can, at a glance, see what to do week to week. Create a calendar for yourself to stay on track and reach out to people who can help you. Other side tips, as I mentioned, check your announcements regularly and check your grades regularly, and as often as possible, do all of these activities on a desktop or tablet and not a phone so that you have full functionality for each of them. If you have other questions or concerns, reach out to your professors, stay in touch with MWCC staff that have been helping you through this process, and we will continue to see you online.